Back in the days where I come from, I remember when I was younger, so we had the tradition. The tradition would allow our parents to do everything they wanted. And we never had any say over nothing, okay? It didn't really matter if it was the wrong thing. They would say, do it like that or do it that way. And you had to do it like that. Because, at the end of the day, it's your parents. You know what I mean? So you had to obey, kind of. You have this kind of system whereby you have to comply. You're under compliance. Most of the times you would see as a black sheep, you've been forced to do things that were not appropriate, or sometimes even to say things that were not appropriate, because you had a leader of the family at the top who was dysfunctional. Okay, so you had a parent who was very broken, very dysfunctional, and couldn't function like a normal person. Okay, now you're finding out about this. And most of the times you ended up being dragged towards a direction that you never wanted, because your job and your assignment in that family was to obey. So you were never supposed to open your mouth and speak. And even if something went wrong, the parents had the right to do whatever they wanted. They could just grab something on the side and start, hitting you up, beating you up, or whatever, dragging you on the floor. They could grab your hair and grab you on the floor, and, nobody was supposed to ask anything. Nobody was supposed to say nothing. Now, there is so many families which don't understand narcissistic abuse. So those families, they still believe they have got that little idea in their mind that it could be the same as domestic abuse. Okay, so there's a difference between narcissistic abuse and domestic abuse. So when you're dealing with this kind of narcissistic family dynamics, whereby you are having a narcissistic head at the top, there will be a lot of abuse that will usually go down. And most of the times this abuse is going unnoticed. It could be something happening within the, behind closed doors, when as soon as, you get in the home, that's when the abuse will kick off. But when you're outside of the home, so your neighbors don't know nothing, they don't see nothing, probably they didn't hear anything. So it becomes very difficult to prove that you have been under abuse for a very long period of time. It's the reason why you see many black sheep around the world, they struggle to explain these kind of things to people. Okay, so when you come to that sense of awakening, eventually you want to go out there and try to speak with people. You know what, guys, listen, this is what has been happening. This is what my father looks like. That's what the mother looks like. So you're starting to see, because you see, when you wake up, the masks are sleeping all over the place. So sometimes you want to share these things with people that very close people, friends, sometimes even a few family members, because it doesn't always mean that when you've been the black sheep of the family, it doesn't always mean that everybody's against you. There can be sometimes a member or two that could have sometimes tried to understand you, even at the slightest level, whatever, Nobody is listening. So nobody believes you, nobody is listening. The harder you speak, the more confused they get, okay? The conditioning of a black sheep is very deep. You see, in a dysfunctional family, you being a black sheep of the family, especially the ones that they had already turned into scapegoats. You might have had so many cases where everything that you did in that family was wrong, You could see something, you talk about it. No, it's not like that, it's like this. Anything you had to say wasn't valid, Everything you had to do wasn't important. You were never even given credit. You might have sometimes, your parents could have come back home and you have cleaned the whole house, mopped the floors and washed the dishes and, taken care of everything. The house is sparkling. Your parents will come back and they will be like, that is business as usual. That is what they're supposed to do. So they will never sit down with you and give you some credit. Thanks for what you did or something like that. Even if they do it, you could rarely feel that energy, like they appreciate something that you've done for them. So it's the reason as to why black sheeps, you have usually done a lot of things in those families, okay? But you have not been recognized. So you have not been given the credit because nobody wanted you to be recognized in that way, that you've done something nice. So there's a very strong subconscious system that is usually running in those families. Many family members, even during the abuse, many of them don't even understand that they're hurting you. It's one of the things which came to me the moment I discovered this narcissistic family dynamics. There is family members who don't even recognize, they don't even understand that they're hurting you. There is things that they do, and it feels like they're on autoplay, When they wake up something, they know that, oh, so-and-so is supposed to clean the dishes. We're not supposed to clean the dishes because, we cannot make our hands dirty, but there's a member in the family who can always wash the dishes, who can always go to the shop, to the stores, shops, do the shopping, do the cooking, mop the house and whatever, take care of the dogs. So there is a family member who everybody thinks that they are entitled to regular and daily punishment. One of them are sitting down watching TV or playing around with their phones. There's somebody supposed to be running around the house, preparing everything for them, making everything in order. Because you see, the scapegoat always tries to fight for validation. The scapegoats are trying to please everyone. They want to come out like, they are doing the right thing. They are trying to impress the narcissistic parents. They are trying to impress their siblings. And sometimes you're burning out, You're burning out, ladies and gentlemen. There's a time comes for a scapegoat where you know that it is enough, okay? So you really burnt out is enough. So personally for me, I remember a few years ago, when the mask slipped, that's why they say that in every toxic or narcissistic or dysfunctional family system, there is usually a black sheep stroke scapegoat. So that person is the one who shares the biggest portion of abuse, the biggest portion of pain, the biggest portion of torture, the biggest portion of humiliation. And those people, due to that intensive trauma, they are the people who are usually activated by God to wake up. So it is inevitable that the black sheep, those people, what they don't realize or what they don't understand, or what they cannot even see, is that there's going to be a moment when that black sheep is going to one day snap out of it. So the more intense the trauma is, the more close the black sheep gets to snapping out of that abuse. And the moment they snap, ladies and gentlemen, there's no going back. So you could have been a black sheep and you couldn't understand, like, what was this thing all about over these years. You're starting to remember, because when you snap, you remember things. You're like, you can now remember back in the days when your mother did something. You now know what was the intention behind that. When your father did something, you know what was the intention behind that. So you can see now all your siblings, the things they did, and the intention that has always been behind those things. So it's why you see those kind of people, the black sheep, they always get their courage, because when they have figured these things out and they have snapped out of this subconscious programming of the dysfunctional family system and the abuse and everything. So what they usually do, they have the power, because those people, initially they have the power, even from the very young age. But that power has been, I could say, suppressed, or that power has been kept on the low because there was abuse on the top. So when they have finally remembered, probably gone through this awakening, and they have remembered who they are, they will remember that actually that power has always been with them ever since they was a kid, okay? They were never ever able to realize that power because they had always been kept under bondage by the dysfunctional family system. So they were never able to use their power or realize who they are. Those people wake up the very first thing they're going to remember is who they are. So something will just snap in their mind and they're going to remember that, okay, so now we get it. This is what has been happening so many years. You see, this abuse, it kind of blinds. It's like they put a lot of blinders on your face. They put a lot of blinders over your head. And it's like, it is very difficult for you to put a finger on what you need to do, okay? So they've already squeezed you very hard in the corner of the wall. It's like you're somewhere in the little box. And everybody is coming around kicking the box. So you don't know who is kicking the box. Do you guys get the picture? So you've been closed up in a small little box in a dark room. So people will come around and start. One will kick the box from the left. This one will kick from the right. This one will kick from the from the sides. You don't know who is kicking the box, but you're hurting. So when you get out of this box, eventually, everybody's gone. So you don't know who was hitting the box, who was kicking the box, who was hurting you. You know, it's like you're being stabbed, but you don't know who is stabbing you. So that is the life of a scapegoat. Sometimes you will see, yes, that so-and-so is stabbing you, but sometimes they are going to do it behind the scenes, whereby you don't even know who is destroying you, you know. But post-awakening, ladies and gentlemen, the moment those lights snap, that's it. The game is done. That so-called girl, man or woman, who was once laid back, very empathetic, couldn't say anything, the moment you wake up, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to blow up. You're going to blow up, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe some of you haven't yet awakened, so you don't know what I'm talking about. With the moment you awaken and you remember who you are, and you remember what has always been done to you behind the scenes, you are going to wake up and you're going to remember who you are. You're going to get that power back. Because you see, the devil doesn't want to be known. Okay, so a lot of these parents, for example, they have been doing things so many times over the years, and they used to hide their tracks. So you could not really get put a whole, like you was trying to create it in your mind, like, is it who is crazy, or did your father do something, or did your mother do something? You're trying to figure it out. You could not put a finger to it because they were hiding their tracks. When you attempted to speak with family members, they could not believe you because they thought that there was something wrong with you, because, that is dad, and nobody's seeing this. It's only you. Only your eyes are seeing this abuse. Nobody else is seeing it. So it's why most of the times when these black sheep, they wake up, they are running to tell some family members, like, hey, listen, this is what is happening. Nobody's listening. And let me tell you something, scapegoat, this is a secret. You are not supposed to mention anything. The very moment you snap out of it, one of the mistakes we have done, many scapegoats have done around the world, you want to go and try to talk with the family member. The family member is part of the problem. You are just not aware of it. You are most likely going to go and speak with a golden child. The golden child is a zombie. The golden child is a bot. All these people are into the system. You guys need to understand, for you to be able to wake up, really wake up, like fully wake up, you need to understand how this matrix operates. This matrix has got agents, Those agents are your families, those kind of so-called narcissistic parents, whatever. Those agents are your teachers. Those agents are your wives, your husbands. Those agents are your pastors in church. So this thing has got the leaders and then their agents who work for them. So in a narcissistic family unit, you have got the narcissistic parent, and then you have got these other enabling parents. You have these flying monkeys. You have these golden children. All these are elements of the narcissist. They are extensions of the narcissist. So whatever you do or whatever you say, it is going to come around and go back to the narcissistic parent. So that is why it is very dangerous for a black sheep. The very moment you get into that awakening, that sense of awakening, that moment of awakening, the very first thing you do, you shut your mouth. So any plans you're planning to move away, get very far away from them and go ahead and live your life, you are not going to mention a word. Because anything you mention is going to land you into trouble, remember. Okay? So this is the life of a black sheep, basically, is a very deep program, okay? It's a very deep subconscious program. And the moment you start waking up, you will see these illusions, these video games. You start to see this life that is, you'll figure out that this life has always been a video game. you know. And this video game has got characters, so there have always been just characters who was playing around you. You start to figure out these things. But I can still believe and I can still guarantee you that being a scapegoat of the family, black sheep or scapegoat of the family, is one of the things that is very, very difficult to explain. You know, it's very difficult to explain. It feels like nobody can believe you. It is until, because remember, even for you to get your voice back or your power back, you need, first of all, to extract yourself away from these units. So one of the things I started preaching many years ago. The very first thing you do, you calculate your exit. So you get out. Because when you are part of the system, that system will never allow you to speak. Do you know one of the things which happened the very first time I woke up? The very first thing which happened, I got a Hoover within the next 3-4 days. Oh, you should come back and join us. Maybe somebody felt like I was unplugging. My energy was like, sometimes these people don't understand that you are the person with the energy. You are the battery, you are the generator, So you are now removing your energy and going with your power supply. And now everybody can feel this, there's this thing, a very, very huge gaping hole. It's like, nobody knows what to do, So and so is gone. You have unplugged and it has most likely caught them by surprise. So they don't know what is wrong with you. You will get hoovers. So me, I was hoovered. But in that time, I already knew that, this was it, When I started figuring out that me, living my life, the rest of my life being a scapegoat in my family, I would actually better go out and start doing my own thing. And I can guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, the moment I took that decision, everything worked for me. The moment you take a decision to leave abusive and toxic people behind, everything is going to work out in your favor. Yes, there will be healing and there will be pain, there will be mourning, whatever, grieving. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. The moment you push through those barriers, you're going to start understanding the reason why you had to leave those people. But if you're the black sheep who is still there, you're sorry for your dad, you're sorry for your mom, it's up to you. We have free will. Everybody has got free will. So we, the messengers, we come because we have gone through this thing. We tell you, we come and teach you. Okay, so we tell you that this is what is happening, that is what is happening. So we open your eyes. Okay. But at the end of the day, you have free will. So when you have not yet found that power within you to make that decision to get your steps, the very first steps out of that vicinity, then everything is going to be up to you. And it is not going to change. That situation can only get worse day by day. It will never change. Nobody will ever change. This kind of change that we're talking about, it is only going to happen when you have done the change on yourself first. But before you do the change on yourself first, you need to get away. You have got to get away and show those families what it really means to heal. Because if they don't see from you, there's no example out there. If you don't go out there and show them the way that a person can get out and live on their own and start healing and work on themselves, if they don't see you doing it or somebody doing it, then nobody will ever do it. So that is how these generational cycles, they keep on repeating in those kind of families. Family after family, they will be facing and going through the same thing again and again and again until the black sheep of the family wakes up, gets out, does the healing work, and now they will lead these other people by example. They will show them that it is very possible to heal from trauma. I can promise you that the trauma that your family has put you through over the years, nobody ever believes in their mind that you could heal from that. The trauma you've had over the years and the healing you do as a black sheep, the moment you come out on the other side shining and glowing and becoming your greatest version, nobody will ever believe the work that you have done. Some of them will even be shy and even sometimes ashamed to come in your face. to come around and face you and tell you that, okay, we understand, you know, this is what was going on, you know, we are sorry for back in the days, this and this. They will even feel very, very ashamed to do that. Because of all that you've gone through, you've still gotten back, ladies and gentlemen, and you're still climbing. And this time you're climbing to heights that they cannot even reach. So, Black Sheep, this is a reminder that you're powerful. So, the Black Sheep of the family is you're the chosen ones, okay? You are the one that has been destined to break cycles, but there is really work to do. When you have seen it, ladies and gentlemen, there's no excuse. It has been your father, there's no excuse. A narcissist is a narcissist regardless of who they are, because you see, a lot of times people get it twisted. When you're talking about people who are narcissistic, or who are narcissists, let's say for example, who are narcissists, a lot of people the mind is very much fighting with them. They're fighting in their mind, you know. So you have a Peter, you have a Jerry, you have a Tom. That Tom is just a boat. So this is a vessel now. Because these people, their souls have been corrupted over the years. They have been taken over by entities. So normally when the reason why you see people struggling to leave those families, because, you know, it's like, oh, that is my dad, that is my father, that is my mother. They don't understand that the soul of that person is gone so many years ago. This is going to be one of the most painful things you will ever realize when you figure out that the soul of that person that you used to think as your father, your mother, whatever, that soul is gone a long time ago. So it is just remaining a name, their name, you know, Peter, whatever, Jerry, whatever, Tom, and the empty shell. The soul is gone, ladies and gentlemen. Those people, I don't know what happened to them, but for some reason, they have taken a decision, and that decision has led them into that life of being a narcissist. And there's nothing you can do. So you're the black sheep of the family. You need to be very careful. The enemy that you've always thought, you know, sometimes your family programmed you to look very far away from you. The enemy was out there. You know, there's a distant auntie somewhere, the enemy has always been next to you. The enemy that has been a part of the problem has always been sitting next to you in the house. So they were not very far from you. You know, that is one of the realizations you're going to come to understand and accept, you know. I used to be very, very strongly connected to the family. But you guys, you cannot even, you don't believe and you cannot imagine. I was very connected to this unit. But the very moment my eyes opened, because you see, these eyes are opening and you can never see things the way you want them to be. You can only see things for what they are, you know. So the surprises will start coming in. Your sister's a narcissist. Your brother's a narcissist. Your father, you're seeing everything. Everything is open. You know, it's like somebody opened the curtains. You know, these, you know, when you go for these shows, they open the curtains, you know. They draw the curtains and now you can see what is behind the scenes. And there's nothing you can do. Your eyes will show you what you need to know. Because that is exactly what is going to help you to evolve. Because once you know it, you're able to walk away from it and you're able to evolve and eventually become the greatest version of you. So let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. You guys know that I do love and appreciate your support. Book a session. You may donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I will catch you guys in my next one. There's Amos signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.